Welcome. Please be seated. Thank you for joining us on this wondrous occasion. And again, welcome. When founding President William Rainey Harper and John D. Rockefeller established the University of Chicago, they embarked on a radical experiment. An experiment predicated on the belief that higher learning should be marked by research, not recitation, extension, not insularity. Central to this experiment was a commitment to lifelong learning, an effort to specifically reach, and I quote, those who lived beyond campus and did not fall into established categories of students, end quote. This experiment soon became a model of the 20th century university. The forces of urbanization, the first big migration to the cities such as Chicago, globalization, the US seeking to find its place in the world, specifically in relationship to Europe, and lastly, technology. Do not underestimate the value and impact of the railroads and the telegraph. All of these accelerated the adoption of this novel approach. As we eye the 125th anniversary of this institution to be celebrated in the autumn and winter, we celebrate your achievements as the natural continuation of that experiment. Your effort, dedication, and commitment to advancing your knowledge and your capabilities speaks to this university's founding values. At the same time, the exact forces that drove the creation of the 20th century university globalization, urbanization, and technology are driving an evolution of the university today. This, along with the ongoing redefinition of what it means to be a student and an alum, suggests that not only are we celebrating today with an eye towards the past, we are also celebrating with an eye towards the future. Your accomplishments reflect not only our core founding values, but both Graham's and the University of Chicago's, and our overall commitment to be a model of the 21st century university. On behalf of the instructors and administration of the Graham School, as well as all of those gathered here, family and friends, congratulations. And it's our hope that you will consider the University of Chicago not as a moment of study, but rather as your intellectual destination, your academic home, now and for many years to come. Again, congratulations. It's now my great privilege to introduce the Dean of Students of the Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies, who will now present candidates for the degrees of Master of Liberal Arts and Master of Science.
It is my honor to present the students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Liberal Arts by the Board of Trustees. Will the recipients of the degree of Master of Liberal Arts please rise and proceed to the stage to receive your degree? Joseph Walter Breisowitz. Jan L. Ingmeyer. George Kupadowski. Sora Moon. Nishka Christina Twopur. It is my honor to present the students who have completed the program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. They have been awarded the degree of Master of Science by the Board of Trustees. Will the recipients of the degree of Master of Science please rise and proceed to the stage to receive your degree? Neil Benedict. Justin L. Brewer. Alexandra Barron. Thomas William Barnett. Cheryl Denise Brown Talley. Kimberly Teresa Nowicki. Sabine Shumpsey. Mark Sigelko. Armando Silva. Pamela Francine Thompson Hall. Walter James Williams. The Associate Dean for the Graham School will now present certificate candidates.
It is my honor to present the students who have completed the certificate program of studies prescribed by the faculty of the William B. and Catherine V. Graham School of Continuing Liberal and Professional Studies. Candidates for the certificates will be dismissed by row and will now proceed to the stage. Chris Reed, Anthony Trajan Ilievsky, Douglas L. Baldwin, Cheryl L. Bodrini, Helen Mary Crowley, Kip E. Gasper, Theodore W. Grippo, Helen Louise Mormon, Celeste Nair, John E. Reardon, Linda S. Scott, John W. Scott, Richard Witt, Rasna Goswami, Michael Jesselson, Shaquille Khan, Lee Everett, Heather Reagan Augusta McLean, Mary Florence McNulty, Jessica Grace Block, Timothy Ernest Golzvig, Francis Albert Noriega, Maxanne Balthazar, Catherine Keegan Hughes, Aaron J. Katz, Dewey Tong, Thomas B. Greena, Sina Mosahebi, Chithra Kumaran Nahir, Josephine L. McEntee, James John Palermo, Arturo C. Ramos, Antoana C. Smothers, Maria Suthoskaya, Marguerite Allegretti, Emily Billings, Cristina Cordova Herrera, Marina Drews Tartarati, Diane Ponder,
Please join me in a round of applause once more time for our graduates and our certificate recipients. It is now my pleasure to introduce Kate Coleman. Distinguished alumna of the University of Chicago, Ms. Coleman embodies a dedication to lifelong learning and exemplifies the dynamic impact the University of Chicago graduates have on communities around the world. Ms. Coleman earned her undergraduate degree from Smith College and followed that with a Master's of Business and Administration in Finance at University of Chicago Booth School, as well as a Master of Liberal Arts from here at Graham. She currently serves as the Executive Vice President and Chief Strategy and Advancement Officer at the YMCA of the USA, where she leads the Planning, Marketing Communications, Strategic Initiatives Fund, and the Office of Project Management. In this role, she has spearheaded all aspects of the Y's brand revitalization, which is the largest and most comprehensive branding effort undertaken in the nonprofit sector. Her leadership with the Y demonstrates her commitment to giving back to her community and providing support to those we call our neighbors. Prior to joining the YMCA, Ms. Coleman held leadership positions for the YMCA of Metropolitan Chicago, as well as Cass Station Inc. and JP Morgan Chase. Her notable professional accomplishments highlight the role that University of Chicago graduates have in transforming organizations and communities through innovative thinking and practices. In addition to her professional accomplishments, Ms. Coleman has served in a variety of civic roles. She currently serves as a member of the Council of the Graham School, which is a committee of the University of Chicago's Board of Trustees, and is a member of the Regional Governing Board of the CMO Collective and the nonprofit CMO Roundtable of the American Marketing Association Foundation. She has held positions on the boards of High Jump, Children's Memorial Institute of Education, Research and Youth Guidance, as well as providing her knowledge and expertise to help develop other nonprofit organizations. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Kate Coleman.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it is the afternoon. I am delighted to be joining you today. I have to say, I want to begin by congratulating. Can you hear me? Yes? Good. I want to begin by congratulating you on receiving your degrees or your certificates. And I'm just going to step away from the speech for 1 second. I want to thank you. I do have 3 degrees. I have never worn a cap and gown, so I am extremely excited. Yes, I'm very happy. Yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you. As you might expect, I am standing here because I have a great deal of admiration for the University of Chicago and a real affection for the Graham School. And I am deeply committed to advancing the missions of both of these organizations. Now, while I do many things you see these days, such was not always the case. Indeed, my initial connection with the Graham School was largely a product of luck, and my connection with the University of Chicago for Business School was actually accidental. And yet, despite this very inauspicious beginning, I have been a part of the Graham School now for 20 years, hard to believe, and it is a passion of mine, and one I hope that if you don't share it right now, you will come to share it soon. Let me tell you first a little bit about my story and how I got involved with the Graham School. So, I studied genetics in college, and when I was young, I thought there was nothing more self-evident than evolution, and a guy named Richard Lewontin was my hero. I didn't exactly have a wide perspective on the world. After college, I got into graduate program in environmental science, and I had a job at a genetics lab, and that, I thought, would be my future. But a funny thing happened the summer before graduate school. The lab where I had gotten the job was so quiet, and nobody I socialized with was interested in allozyme variation in isolated populations of the dusky mountain salamander. And maybe it was the time, or maybe honestly, this wasn't something a girl did 40 years ago. But I remember going home to my father and saying, maybe I'm not cut out to be a scientist. And so my father said to me, well then, go to business school. Honestly, I knew nothing about business, but I was young and I think I was naive, and so I said, oh, okay. And I applied to what was then called the Graduate School of Business, now Booth, and I applied to Kellogg, and frankly, I knew nothing about either one of those schools. But people said U of C was a better school, so that's where I decided to go. You know, really systematic. But the fact is, despite that accident, I actually came to love the business school. Now, it was very theoretical at that point, and that was okay by me. And so when I graduated, I went on to have a career in business. And some 15 years later, I was picking up an alumni magazine. Now, I need to tell you, I never read the alumni magazine, but for whatever reason, this issue I picked up. And in this issue, there was an article about the construction of this new downtown center called the Gleacher Center. And there was a description of this brand new program, I see you guys over here, called the Masters of Liberal Arts. I thought, well, my background has kind of been limited to science and finance. I might want to think about expanding my horizons, so I applied. I really didn't know what I was getting into, but somewhere around the first or second quarter, I read Emile Durkheim and Max Weber and Claude Lévi-Strauss, and I was hooked. Because as part of the Graham School, I found kindred spirits who wanted to grapple with big questions, who were willing to parse, and who, frankly, were cheap dates, as interested in Eliot as they were in Hobbes, as they were in Lucretius. After my MLA, I did the basic program, then I started taking alumni classes, and then several years ago when the Graham Council was formed, I was asked to become a member, and of course I jumped at the opportunity because my experience at the Graham School gave me such an abiding sense of the importance of lifelong learning. And so what I really want to do now is take this opportunity to share my perspective about the importance of lifelong learning on one's personal and professional development. So, many things make the human animal unique. We are naked, we blush, we are children for a very long time, and we have these extraordinary brains which produce language and think abstractly and allow us to reason and are self-aware. And we can ask questions and form opinions and listen to the opinions of others, and therefore we can grow. This is a gift. And whether you believe it is divinely inspired or the product of our evolutionary adaptation, it is a gift. And to my mind, the best way to honor this gift is to develop over the course of our own lives the answers to the existential questions that our very consciousness begs us to address. And yet, questions developed in a vacuum answers developed in a vacuum can scarcely be considered such. But answers developed in conversation with the ideas of philosophers and historians, writers and scientists, friends and classmates, answers developed over many years, they are magic. And they are the business of lifelong learning. Okay, guys, I'm making a reference here to paraphrase a friend who paraphrased a friend. I don't know how to separate lifelong learning from what it means to be human and to live a life worth living. And if that isn't alone enough, I don't really know what is. Which brings me to the role of lifelong learning for one's professional development. So, as Mark mentioned, I work at the National Office of the YMCA, We are a very large not-for-profit, some 250,000 staff members strong. And about 5 years ago, we created something called the Leadership Symposium. So every year, Y leaders have an opportunity to apply to this symposium, and 40 are selected to participate. And they spend several years at a university, maybe someday it could be this one, at a university, meeting with experts in their fields, selecting a topic which to study. They leave the university, and then while they're doing their day jobs, they partner with a graduate student and write a paper which they present to the rest of the cohort when the group reconvenes. We are a not-for-profit. As you can imagine, this is a serious investment of time and resources for an organization like ours. So why do we do it? I'll tell you why. Because several years ago, we came to the conclusion that in order to develop the next generation of leaders, we needed to foster a culture of scholarship, of inquiry, and of debate. And we realized that while we had gotten pretty good at the business of running the business, we were not giving intellectual nimbleness its due. And so we created this opportunity for adult learning. Now, this is my opinion, but to a very significant extent, I view this symposium and a lot of adult learning as less about the process and the content of learning and more from a professional sense about sourcing and selecting the intellectually curious and consequently those who have the potential for leadership. Indeed, again, personal opinion, I think the willingness to continue to engage with new material as an adult speaks to a fundamental truism about what is necessary for effective leadership. So, whether personally or professionally, I don't think that we can be our best selves without making an ongoing commitment to learning. Now, clearly, there are many ways to engage in learning throughout one's lifetime, but I think that it's best taken in a community that is committed to intellectual rigor and discussion, and a community that is led by experts, she said, looking at the experts. For me, and I hope for you, the Graham School has been that community. I cannot imagine my adult life, or quite frankly, the University of Chicago without it. So I hope all of you will join me in advocating for everything that this school stands for. I hope you will stay connected to the school, and I trust that if this is your first encounter with the Graham School, it will not be your last. And so on behalf of the Graham School Council, let me again offer you my congratulations and welcome you to our community of alumni. Thanks very much.
Graduates, it's now time for you to thank the people whose support and love for you help make this day possible. Would the parents, spouses, partners, children, sisters, brothers, grandparents, and friends please stand so that the graduates can thank you? We now invite you to join your graduate for a reception located in Rockefeller Lounge just outside Assembly Hall. Guests, please remain seated until after the Dean's party and the graduates have left the hall. Thank you.